The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 71. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of courageous women finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Want to learn how you can change your inner beliefs and attitudes? Download a free copy of the ebook by visiting thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a lovely woman. She always cracks me up, and, she's just all around funny. And, she's a writer, a content writer, and she resides in Texas. I just know Texas. I totally forgot the state. But, without further ado, I really do want to introduce you to Erlinda Shen. Erlinda, how are you doing today? And maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
I'm doing great, Sheena. I was trying to, not laugh while you were introducing me because you said some really funny stuff, too. You're pretty funny yourself. So thanks for having me on. Yes, I do live in Texas. I live in Houston, Texas. It's the fourth largest city in the United States.
I knew it. I knew it was Houston. I was like, what is it?
Yeah, it's a pretty large city. It's an amazing city, and it has a lot of opportunities here, which is why I chose to move down here. But I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is cold, and even more cold, especially in October. I was born in the 70s, and my mom's Puerto Rican and my dad's Mexican. So I grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and then when I was 18, I joined the military after I graduated high school. And I was in the military for a couple of years, and then I went to college, graduated with 3 bachelors in international affairs, Spanish and Chinese, and then I went overseas to Asia for a couple of years to teach English, China and South Korea, and then I came back to the United States, and then after that, I ran a business in Portland, Oregon, that would, funeral directors would contract me out to go and pick up people who passed away. I did that for 5 years, and then I became a mom to 2 little ones, and I've been a work-at-home, stay-at-home mom ever since. So that's my life in a nutshell.
Awesome. And I didn't even know you were part Puerto Rican and part Mexican. I've always thought you were part Asian of some sort.
I'm married to a Chinese man, and I do have a Chinese ancestor somewhere along the line, but nobody knows who she was or anything. So, but the blood is pretty diluted, so it's mostly Latin now.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. So, Erlinda, what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
My favorite self-confidence quote. Oh, God. My favorite self-confidence quote is from Nike, and it's just do it. Just do it. A lot of times we it's especially with me, you just want to build yourself up for doing something. But if you just do it, people don't really think about oh my God, that person looks like such a dork, or, oh, I'm going to screw this up so bad, or whatever. You just go out there and do it. Even if you don't know what you're doing, if you go out and just try something, I really don't think you can go wrong if you try something new, or if you just take action and do something.
I like that. And especially as women, it's we're always overthinking everything. So that quote really, I really like resonating with as well, because I'm guilty of just oh, what if people think I'm nuts? What if people think of this? And, sometimes you just got to take action and forget about the results, because the more action you take, the more results you'll get. So thanks for sharing that. And in your own words, what would be your definition of self-confidence?
I've been thinking a lot about this since yesterday, actually. I think a lot of times we think of people as either confident or not confident. We think of them as either extroverted or introverted. We think of them as either shy or outgoing. My own 2 kids are kind of like this example. I have one child that's quote-unquote outgoing, and then the other one is quote-unquote shy. But as human beings, I think we're complicated creatures, and we're not necessarily completely confident or completely not confident. I think in certain areas where we feel comfortable, where we have natural talents and abilities, we feel confident in that area. And in other areas where we feel like we have weaknesses, where we tend to be not confident or act not confident. The difference is in the mindset. So if you feel like you have a weakness in something and yet you go in there and attempt to do it and work with what you've got, then you can create confidence from that.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And yeah, and mindset is everything, right? I mean, a lot of people think just because they're shy, that they're not confident, but you can still be shy and still have the confidence to do what you want. So thank you for sharing that. And what was your life like before the discovery of self-confidence?
It was hell, to be honest with you. It was complete hell. I grew up with a single mom, okay? And she was very controlling and very you had to do things a certain way. So I grew up thinking that in order to please others, you had to conform to what you thought they wanted you to be. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine okay, Sheena, you're Canadian, but and you decide to move to China, and you have to force yourself to be a Chinese person, even though you don't feel comfortable or really know Chinese culture. You just you're Canadian. Deep down, you're a Canadian. That's how you grew up, but you force yourself to be something you're not. And I just felt like I had no self-esteem or self-worth, and I actually felt like I was born into this world, and that everything that was good and generous was for someone else, but not for me. I felt that for some reason, I had no right to claim wealth or success or anything like that. It really sucked. Honestly, it really did.
Wow. And, I think as women too, I mean, we've been told so much to be somebody else, the good wife, the good daughter, the sister who never complains. And it really just limits us to what we can really do, right? Because, when someone tells us to be something that we're not really comfortable with, we know deep inside it's not a part of us. And there's something inside of us that's just wanting to come out, right? Which is our true selves. So, when did you realize that, you didn't have to conform to what people told you to do? You were just, you could be yourself. When was that aha moment?
Oh God, I remember it like it was yesterday. It was May 2007. Okay. May 21st, 2007 to be exact. I won't get into the details of what exactly happened on that day, but I was free. I was on my own, living on my own for the first time in my life, and I lived in Portland, Oregon, and I had, the business. I had contracted with funeral directors, but I was always on call, but there were stretches of time where I could, I had free time or whatever, and I remember I would get up in the morning and it would be sunny outside, and I'd be like, I think I want to go downstairs and go to the pool and just hang out by the pool in the sun. And I didn't have to ask somebody for permission or stay in the house because I thought maybe that other person would feel like I wasn't, there for them or whatever. It was it was the most freeing and most awesome. And it just continued that way it just felt so good to be able to do whatever I wanted. The simplest things.
And you know what? Those simple things do matter, right? Some people don't realize just being able to go to the pool without anyone's permission. I mean, it is refreshing. It's freeing, right? Because when you can do small things like, going to the pool by yourself, you can, it transfers to other things, like bigger decisions in your life that you can do without having to have consent from anybody, right?
Yes.
And, I'm glad you shared that because some people don't realize, it's the small actions that lead to greater actions. So, after that realization, what's your life like right now?
My life is a lot different. It really is. I still struggle with remnants of that, oh God, I need to do this or that, because I had struggled with it for so long. But then it's an exercise in who cares what other people think, as far as, not like, screw people. I don't care about people or whatever. I mean, like, if I want to go do something or say something, I just do it or say it. And it's an expression of myself. It just feels really good to do that, and I just wish more women would realize that. A couple days ago, I was in the VA hospital, the Veterans Hospital here in Houston, which is where I get care. And I overheard a woman next to me on her cell phone. And she was probably, I would say 50s or 60s. And she was on the phone arguing with somebody. I'm assuming a significant other. Like, she's like, well, I'm sorry. I guess I should have told you that I needed to go to the doctor today and I needed to get this and that done. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I just want to take the phone away from her and say, look, dude, she has to go to the doctor and take care of herself. Don't give her a hard time, and just hang up on him or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I mean, it's just like, why do we have to feel bad if we go to the doctor? It's like we're taking care of ourselves. Like, what the heck?
Exactly. And I think too with mothers and wives that we feel like we got to take care of everybody else. And I fell into this trap too. I have 2 young children. My kids are 5 and 6. And I did not take care of myself. Oh my goodness. And then by the time I went back to the doctor, when both of them got back into school, the prognosis wasn't good. I was a mess. I was like, ooh, okay, I'm going to start going back and getting more rest and taking care of myself because, wow. You can't function if you don't take care of yourself. And there's nothing wrong with self-care. The better you feel about yourself physically and mentally, the more confident and the more confident you feel about yourself, period.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And it's true, right? I mean, sometimes you just got to do things and be like, you know what? If nobody likes what I do, I mean, so what? It's not the end of the world, right? Because in reality, we can't please everybody. It's just so impossible, right? I mean, I have people who make comments about this podcast thinking, oh, it's too fluffy, it's too this. And I'm like, you know what? I mean, that's them, right? I know I'm here for a purpose to help women out there. And there's going to be, people out there who's not going to resonate with me. And I'm fine with that, right? Mm-hmm. So as long as I can resonate with the right people who can, be able to change their lives and give them their own aha moments to take action, that's all that matters to me. So thanks for sharing that. And, for the woman who's listening to this episode, she's in her own journey to self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
I would tell her to constantly reevaluate her thoughts as far as whatever's stopping her from doing something that she wants to do. It's almost a knee-jerk reaction for us to think, oh, you know what, I'd like to go to the mall today, and then think, oh, no, I can't do that because da-da-da-da-da. Start questioning those thoughts. Start questioning what's holding you back. And, a lot of times, we have people in our lives who make us feel like if we ask for a little bit of, if we want to do something for ourselves, we're like, actually talking about going to rob a bank or take somebody hostage. And that's not the case. It's harmless, Put it in perspective. And don't be afraid to start taking steps and start taking back your own control of your life.
Awesome. I like that. Thanks for sharing that because, I believe, it's like sometimes when you do simple things like just going to the mall, it's like, well, why are you going to go to the mall? Don't you know you have these responsibilities and that responsibilities? And you're like, you just need some me time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, watch a movie, get your nails done, go have some popcorn, go eat a nice piece of cake. It's fine. Just do it. And exactly. You'll feel so much better. You'll feel so much lighter. So thanks for that great advice. And Erlinda, if our listeners want to get to know a little bit more about yourself, is there any social media links or any websites that we can connect with?
Yeah, you can visit me at erlindashen.com, and I have all my social media links on there. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr. I usually use my own name on everything. So thank you.
No problem. And to the listeners out there, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Erlinda's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just really want to thank Erlinda for taking the time to share her story and share her nuggets about self-confidence. So, Erlinda, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. I feel very honored. Thank you.
I'm more honored you took the time to do this, so it was my pleasure. And to the listeners out there, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for joining us on another episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Visit thetaoofselfconfidence.com for links to everything we chatted about today, as well as killer resources, gifts, and so much more. Subscribe to The Tao of Self-Confidence on iTunes or Stitcher to hear more stories of amazing women finding their inner journey to self-confidence.